Just imagine that you take a DNA test just for funsies and you find out that your father is not really your father, or your mother's not really your mother, or that neither one of your parents is actually your biological parent. Sadly, this happens to a lot of people. It's generally called an NPE, a non-parental event, or not parent expected. And there's a lot of things that you're going to have to decide if this has happened to you. And I made a bunch of videos about different aspects of how to deal with finding out such a thing. But in this video today, I want to talk about who do you tell? Who do you tell when this kind of thing happens to you? Who and when and how? And I'm not talking about like, who do you trust? Like, I can't tell you who you trust. Of course, it should be a person that you trust. And I'm also not talking about, do you tell your parents? Or when do you tell your parents? That's a whole nother video. This time I want to talk about other people, like who do you tell? How do you tell them? For me personally, when I told one of my siblings, who I'm very close to, that my father wasn't my father, that sibling had a complete meltdown of concern and worry that perhaps their father wasn't their father either. And I knew 100% that their father was their father. It was never a thought to me, but it really sent them into a spiral of shrieking and crying where I had to spend hours looking through old photo albums and showing them that they looked like people in their family, in their father's family. So when you tell other people, you really have to think about the impact to them. And it's not only about the impact to them, which is hurtful, you don't want to hurt anybody, but also you're going to be feeling a whole lot of different feelings, and you really can't be somebody else's support in those situations. You don't even know how you're going to feel about it. You can't go telling other people who might also have feelings about it that then you're going to have to help them maneuver. That's one of the other reasons that my advice is to not tell your kids right away. My kids were teenagers when I found out, middle school and high school, and I felt like it was too much. I felt like it was too much for them to handle at that age, and I didn't want to change their relationship with their grandparents, and also I couldn't deal with what emotional fallout that they would be having. So I put that off for quite a while and told the older one a year or two before I told the younger one. Another thing, when you tell people, you put the burden on them. If you have decided you're not telling everybody, or you don't know who you want to tell, which is how I think you should go about it initially, as soon as you tell someone, you add to them the burden of being a liar, of keeping a secret. And I didn't want to do that to people. So at first there were like cousins of mine, people I was close with, people who knew my family, and I thought if I tell them, then they got to act like they don't know anything around other people. And I didn't want to do that to people. So I think that even though it's probably trying to bust out of you, like it was when I found out, like I was just dying to tell people and see their reaction. I think you really need to take a minute and relax and really ponder these types of questions before you tell somebody. Of course, telling your BFF, tell your spouse, tell the people you're really, really close to, but not anybody who's got a horse in the race, not anyone who could potentially have hurt feelings as well that you then have to manage because you brought this. So that stuff can wait till later. You got to focus on getting you better first. That's me, Motor City Migrant. That's my tip for today. I'll be back again in a week or so with another tip. If you have any questions, as always, ask. Ciao.